The game begins with pawn to d4 from Kramnik, and Kasparov responds with knight f6, signaling the start of a Grunfeld defense. Kramnik plays pawn to c4, establishing central control. Kasparov answers with pawn to g6, preparing to fianchetto the dark-squared bishop. Knight c3 from Kramnik develops the piece and reinforces the center. Kasparov strikes back with pawn to d5, challenging white's pawn chain immediately. Kramnik captures on d5 with his c-pawn, and Kasparov recaptures with the knight, landing on d5. This is the hallmark of the Grunfeld exchange variation. White accepts doubled pawns but gains a strong pawn center with e4 coming next. Black's idea is to pressure that center from afar with the fianchettoed bishop on g7. Kramnik pushes e4, building a massive pawn center. Kasparov takes the knight on c3, and Kramnik recaptures with the b-pawn. White's center is imposing, but the doubled c-pawns are a structural weakness. Bishop g7 completes Kasparov's fianchetto setup, the bishop now aiming at white's center. Kramnik develops knight f3, a natural square supporting the e4 pawn. Kasparov plays pawn to c5, attacking the d4 pawn and opening lines against white's center. Kramnik responds with bishop e3, defending d4 and preparing to develop the kingside. Playing queen b3 was also considered, defending c3 and attacking b7 simultaneously, but bishop e3 is more natural, completing kingside development. Queen of 5, a bold move from Kasparov, putting immediate pressure on white's structure by attacking the a2 pawn and the undefended c3 pawn. This forces Kramnik to be precise. Kramnik responds with queen d2, protecting both c3 and preparing to connect the rooks. This flexible move keeps castling options open. Bishop g4 from Kasparov pins the knight to the queen, increasing the tension. Kramnik plays rook b1, preparing to challenge black's queen on a 5 and protecting the b2 square. Kasparov plays a 6, giving his queen a safe retreat square on a 7 if needed. Kramnik immediately strikes with rook takes b7, sacrificing the exchange to disrupt black's queenside. Bishop takes f3. Kasparov eliminates the knight that was defending key central squares. Kramnik recaptures with the g-pawn, accepting damage to his kingside pawn structure, but maintaining his central pawn mass. The pawn recapture opens the g-file for potential attacking chances later and keeps the queen more flexible. Knight c6 develops black's last minor piece, bringing it into the game. Kramnik plays bishop c4, an aggressive placement targeting f7 and preparing to castle kingside. Kasparov castles kingside, getting his king to safety. Kramnik mirrors with castles kingside, and both players have completed their development with the battle ready to heat up. Kasparov plays c takes d4, opening the c-file and eliminating white's central d-pawn. Kramnik recaptures with c takes d4, maintaining a pawn on the central file. Bishop takes d4. Kasparov's dark-squared bishop captures the d4 pawn, centralizing powerfully and threatening to dominate the center. Kramnik responds with bishop d5, a stunning counter-move that places the bishop on an ideal central square, controlling key diagonals and forcing black to react. This ambitious move challenges black's central control head-on. Bishop c3 retreats to a safer square, still controlling key diagonals. Kramnik plays queen c1, repositioning the queen to support both defense and potential attacking ideas down the c-file. Knight d4 from Kasparov centralizes the knight, attacking both the bishop on e3 and the f3 pawn. Kramnik exchanges with bishop takes d4, and Kasparov recaptures with bishop takes d4, maintaining central tension. Rook takes e7. Kramnik's rook invades the 7th rank, attacking the e7 pawn and forcing black to defend. Kasparov plays rook a7, trying to hold the position together. Rook takes a 7. Kramnik exchanges rooks, simplifying the position while maintaining his powerful bishop on d5. Black recaptures with bishop takes a 7, but now white has eliminated counterplay, and black's pieces are less coordinated. The alternative was to retreat the rook to e1, keeping more pieces on the board, but Kramnik correctly judges that the resulting endgame favors white due to the superior bishop on d5 and the advanced e-pawn. Kramnik plays f4, creating a strong pawn chain and restricting black's pieces. Kasparov responds with queen d8, repositioning the queen defensively. Queen c3 from Kramnik centralizes the queen, eyeing multiple targets. Kasparov plays bishop b8, a passive but necessary retreat to avoid further material loss. Queen f3 repositions, white's queen, preparing to support the advancing pawns. Kasparov plays queen h4, trying to create counterplay on the kingside by attacking h2. Pawn e5. Kramnik pushes forward, gaining space and threatening to advance further with e6. This pawn is a monster, restricting black's pieces and preparing a potential breakthrough. Kasparov responds with pawn g5, trying to open lines against white's king and create threats. The alternative for black was to play rook c8, activating the rook, but Kasparov needs immediate counterplay before white's central avalanche becomes unstoppable. Rook e1 from Kramnik brings the rook into the game, supporting the e5 pawn and preparing further advances. Kasparov plays queen takes f4, exchanging queens to simplify and reduce white's attacking potential. Queen takes f4 exchanges queens, and black recaptures with pawn takes f4. The position is now an endgame where white's central pawns and active pieces give a clear advantage. Pawn e6, a crushing blow. Kramnik pushes the passed pawn forward, and black has no choice but to capture with f takes e6. This pawn break shatters black's structure and opens lines for white's rook to dominate. Could Kasparov have defended differently? Not really. Allowing e7 would have been even worse, creating an unstoppable passed pawn on the 7th rank. After this exchange, white's rook will invade on e6 with devastating effect, and black's position begins to collapse. Rook takes e6. The rook invades the 6th rank with devastating effect. Kasparov plays king g7, trying to activate the king, but it's a desperate attempt. The alternative for black was king f7, keeping the king more centralized. But after rook takes e6, the position is already strategically lost for black, regardless of king placement. White's rook and bishop completely dominate the board. Rook takes a 6, and white continues to gobble pawns. Kasparov plays rook f5, trying to activate the rook and create some threats. Bishop e4 centralizes white's bishop, controlling key squares. Kasparov plays rook e5, blockading the e-file and trying to hold on. Kramnik plays f3, supporting the bishop and preparing to advance the kingside pawns. Kasparov responds with rook e7, repositioning the rook defensively. Pawn f4 begins, white's passed pawn march on the queenside. Kasparov plays rook a7, trying to stop the pawn's advance. Rook b6 from Kramnik supports the a-pawn and prepares to push it further. Kasparov plays bishop e5, activating the bishop to create some defensive resources. Rook b4 repositions the rook to support the passed pawn from the side. Kasparov plays rook d7, trying to control the 7th rank and create counterplay. King g2 brings white's king into the game, preparing to support the pawns. Kasparov plays rook d2 check, forcing the white king to move and gaining activity. King h3 steps away from the check, and Kasparov plays h5, trying to create threats on the king side. Kramnik responds with rook b5, supporting the passed pawn and restricting black's bishop. King f6 from Kasparov activates the king, trying to support the defense. Kramnik plays a5, pushing the passed pawn closer to promotion. Rook a2 from Kasparov attacks the a-pawn from behind, trying to slow it down. Kramnik responds with rook b6 check, forcing black's king to move. King e7 steps away from the check, but the position is hopeless. Kramnik plays bishop d5, the final dominating move. The bishop controls critical squares and supports the a-pawn's advance. Black's pieces are completely paralyzed, and there's no defense against the coming promotion. Kasparov could have tried king f7 instead, but it makes no difference. White's advantage is decisive, and the a-pawn cannot be stopped. After bishop to 5, white's position is completely winning. The a-pawn is unstoppable, and black's pieces have no coordination to mount any defense. This game marks a historic moment. Kramnik's deep preparation in the Grunfeld Defense and his precise endgame technique have broken through the seemingly invincible fortress of Garry Kasparov, the world's #1 player. White's space advantage, powerful bishop on d5, and the passed-pawn combine to create an insurmountable position. A brilliant positional victory for Kramnik in Game 2 of the World Championship match. The final position after bishop d5, white's advantage is overwhelming with the unstoppable passed pawn. A stunning performance by Vladimir Kramnik.